Hey guys, welcome back. I have not done a video on this channel in a while. I have been pretty busy with things, but hopefully I should be getting back into the swing of making more tutorials. And this video is going to be the first video in a series of videos I will be making eventually on Virtualbox. If you're clicking on this video, you probably know what Virtualbox is already, so I'm not going to delve into that, but yeah, in this video I'm going to be showing you the basics of Virtualbox, how to use it, how to change some settings to your liking, and basically prepare you for some of the follow-up videos I'm going to be making on how to install different operating systems, etc, etc. So first thing we're going to need to do obviously is download Virtualbox and get it installed onto your computer. So first thing you want to do is go to virtualbox.org. Virtualbox is free, it is open source, which means it's free, it's community made. So go ahead and head over to virtualbox.org, and once you're here you go to downloads, or you could hit the huge download button, and you will be brought to a screen where it will show you the different versions. You've got a version for Windows, OS X, Linux and Solaris. So go ahead and choose the one that the one for the computer that you're using, and it will go ahead and download. Now I have already downloaded mine for easiness, as you can see. So once you've got it downloaded, you're going to open the exe, you're going to hit run, and you will be greeted with the setup screen. Now go ahead and hit next. Now this is fairly straightforward. You're basically just going to hit next, 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 next until it's installed. My screen looks a bit different because I have already installed Virtualbox. But yeah, just basic installing a Windows program. There's nothing special to it. So that will go ahead and install. And eventually you will have Virtualbox on your computer. You can go ahead and find it whichever way you'd like. Through the desktop icon you can open it, through the start menu you can open it. If you have a link on your taskbar you can open it. But just find a way to open it. So let's let it load up here. And here we go. So now the first thing you see when you open Virtualbox is this window. Now this is called the manager window, whatever you'd like to call it really. And basically on the left hand side where you see this plain white area is where all your virtual machines would sit. But obviously we don't have any right now, so later there will be virtual machines laid out in here, whatever Windows you install, Windows 7, Linux, whatever you choose. But in this video we're just going to be covering the basics of how to use Virtualbox. We're not going to be installing. We're going to be doing that in a later video. But let's get started with configuring Virtualbox the way you like it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go up to File. You will see File up here, and you will see the first thing on the menu will be Preferences. Now in here you can change, in the General tab you can change where you would like to save virtual machines as they're created as default. Now if you're using a C drive, if you're using an SSD, a solid state drive like me, and you do not have much space on your C drive, as you can see I only have 40 gig left because I have a fairly small SSD and a bunch of programs, so that hard drive is probably not going to be best to install the virtual machines on by default. You can do this if it's really necessary, but if you have a backup hard drive you might want to create a folder on one of those and possibly set the default path to one of those drives. That's really easy to do. You can just change it by going to the drop down menu and selecting other, and it will give you an Explorer window to save wherever you would like to save it. But yeah, VRDP authentication library, you don't need to worry about this. That's not really a basic thing with that. That's getting into more sort of advanced remote access things, we don't need to worry about that. The next tab we see on the left is input. Now you can change these if you would like later, but since you're probably new to VirtualBox, I would just leave these as they are. These are all the hotkeys for doing certain things inside virtual machines, just certain management shortcut keys. But yeah, as I said, you can change those later if you want to. Update is just how often you would like it to check for updates, or if you would like it to check for stable versions, pre-release versions, how often you would like it to check. You don't really need to change this, you can just leave it as default. Language, of course, self-explanatory, you can change your language. Display, you can just leave alone. This is what all virtual machines will start up the default resolution. 640 by 480 is a good resolution because when you're first installing the image or the CD of whatever operating system you have, you won't have the correct drivers installed, and it probably will not be able to display the full resolution of your screen until you install the VirtualBox drivers, which obviously we will get into later, perhaps in a later video. Network, this is you can add network cards. Again, we don't need to worry about that. Extension packages. Now, if you go to the website, you'll notice here there is a VM VirtualBox expansion pack. This is for basically extra features within the virtual machine, like USB sharing with the Windows OS or the host OS. Is what's commonly known as. So yeah, just extra features. I'll also get into those. You don't need to worry about them right now. And proxy, if you want to connect these virtual machines through a proxy. But most of the things in here we don't really need to worry about. The only thing really is general. So hit OK and go ahead and close out of that. So now I'm going to show you how to set up a virtual machine. I will not be showing you how to install an OS in this video. I'll just be showing you how to basically set up a virtual machine, which can be used for in one of my other videos. So first thing you want to do is hit New in the top left corner. Now, depending on what OS you're installing, you can name it whatever the hell you want. But say you were installing Windows 7, you can just go ahead and call it Windows 7. It's good to select which one you're installing from this list. If it's not on the list, that's okay. But if it is there, it's better to select it because it means that it will have certain recommended settings for that operating system already put in place for when you're about to install it. So as you can see, I've chosen Microsoft Windows and Windows 7 64-bit. So hit next. Now this is where you can choose how much RAM you want. As you can, this might be different for you. You can see that I can go all the way up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, because that is how much RAM I have inside my computer. But you don't want to give the virtual machine all of your computer's RAM, or then your main host computer, the actual computer, won't be able to run properly. So it says here that the recommended size for Windows 7 64-bit is 512 megs. I would strongly disagree with that. I would probably give it about 2 gigs, which is obviously 2048 megabyte. So let's give that 2 gigs just as an example. If you're unsure of the requirements for the OS you're installing, then you can just go ahead and Google the OS and their system requirements. So I'm going ahead and hit next. Now here you can choose whether you like to make a new virtual hard disk or use from an existing one. If you already have a virtual machine, perhaps from another computer, you can use this option. But we're just going to create a new one because we're creating this from scratch. Hit create new one. Disk image we can just use. Don't really ever want to change this. Hit next. Dynamically allocated, is the best option we want to use because it means that it will only take up space on the hard drive that you need. So earlier when I gave the sorry, I haven't done that yet. So basically, this will make sense in the next part, but fixed size means it will take exactly the amount of gigabytes you set in the next step for the hard drive space, how much space you want to give the virtual machine. Fixed size means it will just take that from your hard drive and reserve it. But dynamically, it means that it will only fill up the hard drive as you put more stuff on the virtual machine. So you kind of want to use dynamically all the time. Hit next, and now this is where you can choose what size you want the virtual hard drive. Obviously, if you don't have much space on a hard drive, then you can put it low. But if you have a lot of space and you need a lot of space on the virtual machine, you can put it all the way up to whatever. So yeah, I'm just going to give Windows 25. You must keep in mind that most Windows installs anyway require about 15 gig if you're being safe storage, so make sure you don't go below what Windows needs to be installed. So go ahead and hit create, and there you go. That is our first virtual machine. As you can see, it has went into the side panel, and yeah, so that's essentially ready to go. If we highlight it here and come up to settings, you can change some of the settings we originally set up in the setup options just there. You can change some of these. There's also some more advanced things that weren't in the setup, like enable 3D graphics, etc., which we will get into more as we progress with this video series. But yeah, it's basically all you need to do to get a virtual machine set up. Obviously, you want to configure this as you would like, and what I will do is I will make some follow-up videos of installing different operating systems and showing you how the whole thing works, and just making sure that we can get any operating system installed for you successfully. So I will see you guys in the follow-up videos. I plan to do installs of Windows 7, Windows 10, and possibly some Linux distros. So look forward to seeing those, and yeah, so I will speak to you guys in the next one. Bye.